Morning, fourth grade. We're ready for math lesson 160. We're going to start off with our concept cards again this morning, so go ahead and give the answer and I will tell you what the answer is. What is the normal body temperature Celsius? 37 degrees. Freezing point of water Celsius. 0 degrees. Boiling point of water Celsius. 100 degrees. Normal body temperature Fahrenheit. 98.6 degrees. Boiling point of water Fahrenheit. 212 degrees. Freezing point of water Fahrenheit. 32 degrees. What is the formula for the perimeter of a rectangle? P equals, in parentheses, 2 times L plus 2, in parentheses, 2 times W. For the perimeter of a square, what is the formula? P equals 4 times S. Formula for the area of a rectangle? A equals length times width. This is an angle, trapezoid, parallelogram, rhombus, intersecting lines, congruent angles, right angle, ray, line, line segment, point, polygon, simple closed curve, perpendicular lines, and parallel lines. Okay, first of all, today we're going to review how to find the area of a rectangle. So first of all, what are we talking about when we're talking about area? When we're talking about area, we are measuring the place inside of our shape. Okay, so it's not just around the edge, but we are measuring the inside of something, and we usually measure that by square units. So we count how many square units there are, whether it's square feet, square inches, square yards, and we learned that we have a formula we can use that is much quicker than counting every single square unit. So what is the formula for finding the area of a rectangle? If we'd be finding the area of our classroom to get new carpet on the floor, how could we find the square units without having to count every square? Our formula is A equals length times width. So if we take how many yards it is along the length, which is the longer side, and multiply it by how many yards it is along the width, which is the shorter side, that will tell us how many square yards it is inside the area of the rectangle. And remember, on the board the other day, I had a square yard. So a square, when we measure a square unit, it's the measurement inside of whatever we are measuring. So now we have A equals, our length is 13 yards, so 13 times our width, which is 7. So area equals 13 times 7. Now we need to multiply 13 by 7, which gives us 91. So now we have area equals 91, and we need to write our label. And because we're measuring area, remember we need to make sure we write square, because we're not just measuring length, we're measuring square units. So we write SQ dot yards, okay? So now we have 91 square yards is the area of this rectangle. Now, in our lesson today, we're talking about finding the area of a square. So we know how to find the area of a rectangle, but how can we find the area of a square? Now, we could use the same formula that we used to find the area of a rectangle. that would work. But since a square is square, all of the sides are the same length, right? Every side on a square is the same length as all of the other sides. So we can use an even more simple formula. And our formula for that is simply A equals S times S. Because remember, in a rectangle, we take the length and we multiply it by the width. Now, but for a square, since all the sides are the same, we just have to go one side multiplied by another side, and then we get our area. Okay? So now, this square here, every side measures 7 feet. So we have A equals 7 times 7. Okay, so now we need to multiply, and that will give us the area of our square. A equals 49, and our label should be in feet, and because we are measuring area, it is square feet. So we have 49 square feet. Remember, it is very important that you make sure you write down square feet or square yards, whatever it is. If you're measuring area, do not just write down feet or yards or inches. Write down square feet, square yards, square inches, because we are measuring the inside of something, not just around it. So the area of the square is 49 square feet. Our formula for the area of a square is simply A equals S times S. Now look in your lesson at the top of the page. It says that the area of a square, you can find the area by using A equals S times S, and they give an example of a box where every side is 8 units. And they multiplied 8 by 8 and got 64 square units. Now in your lesson, remember it is important to write down the formula in every single problem. Even if you know it in your head and you can do the problem in your head, write the formula down and then write your second line. A equals 7 times 7, or whatever your measurement is. And then your third line, A equals 49 square feet, or whatever your answer is. Okay, so you should have something that looks like this in every single problem. You should do that at least 9 times in today's lesson. You should write down the formula 9 times until you're done with the lesson. Okay? That would be including using the rectangle formula. You'll write the square formula 6 times. Okay? So area of a rectangle is A equals length times width. Area of a square, because all the sides are the same, is simply A equals S times S. Okay? So work your lesson carefully. Be sure to write down the formula, work the problem, and write the answer in square feet or square yards, square inches, whatever it is that they used in that problem. At the end of the lesson, you get to write down all the different formulas we learned about. So you can look, hopefully you can remember them, and if you can't, look back over the lessons where we learned the different formulas. Let me know if you have any questions. Work very carefully and do your best in your lesson today.